The village of Eldergrove, nestled at the foot of a gentle hill, surrounded by lush forests and sparkling streams. As night fell, a serene blanket of stars spread across the sky, illuminating the world below with a soft, silvery glow. The air was crisp and filled with the calming sounds of nature. The rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl, and the faint trickle of water flowing nearby. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more. And tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. In this cozy village, life moved at a slower pace. As darkness crept in, families gathered around flickering lanterns, sharing stories and laughter, while the tantalizing aroma of dinner wafted through open windows. Children played games in the fading light, their giggles echoing through the narrow streets as they chased fireflies that danced like tiny stars. Eldergrove had always been known for its peaceful charm. Its homes were quaint, with wooden shutters painted in cheerful colors and gardens bursting with vibrant blooms. The villagers took pride in their tight-knit community, where everyone knew one another. They shared the joys and struggles of life together, creating bonds that felt as unbreakable as the sturdy roots of the trees surrounding them. That night, however, there was an unusual stillness in the air. While laughter echoed from homes and soft chatter floated within the village square, a sense of anticipation lingered like a whisper among the villagers. It was a feeling many couldn't quite put into words, an instinct that something was different. As the moonlight spilled across the cobblestone paths, illuminating their way, an elderly villager named Mr. Hill noticed something peculiar at the edge of town. He squinted into the darkness, adjusting his glasses as he peered beyond the trees. A figure stood out against the night, a lioness, majestic and poised. She seemed both beautiful and fierce, her golden fur catching glimmers of moonlight. Mr. Hill's heart raced. He called out to others nearby, "Come look, there's a lioness at the edge of our village." His voice stirred curiosity among his neighbors, who soon gathered around him. With a mix of excitement and concern, they all leaned closer to get a better view. The lioness stood still, her gaze fixed on something far beyond their sight. A silent guardian watching over her territory. Villagers exchanged worried glances. They had lived close to nature but had never seen a wild lioness this near before. What could she want? Was she hungry? Lost? As whispers buzzed among the crowd, a brave young woman named Lila stepped forward. With bright eyes full of determination and kindness, she felt an urge to approach the lioness. "She doesn't look aggressive," she said softly. "Maybe she needs our help." While some villagers hesitated, Lila's courage sparked a sense of adventure within them. Drawn by her fearless spirit, several villagers decided to follow her lead. They formed a small group and carefully made their way toward where the lioness stood. As they walked closer through the grass and shadows, they moved quietly, not wanting to startle her. The moon shone brightly above them now, casting long shadows across their path as they reached the edge of the trees. The lioness remained still, but turned her head slightly to acknowledge their presence. "Stay calm," Lila whispered to her friends, urging them not to panic. They could see how magnificent she was up close, her muscles rippling beneath her fur as she stood tall like a queen surveying her domain. Then something surprising happened. The lioness took a few steps forward and paused, looking back at them with piercing eyes that seemed to beckon them to follow her deeper into the forest. It was as if she understood that they were there to help, or perhaps learn something important. Lila felt a rush of excitement mixed with caution as she glanced back at her friends. "Let's go," she urged again. With hearts racing yet filled with curiosity, they stepped into the woods after her. The air grew cooler under the canopy of leaves overhead as they ventured further from the warmth of their village lights. The sounds of nature enveloped them. The chirping of crickets and rustling leaves created an enchanting melody that accompanied their trek. The lioness led them down a narrow path lined with tall ferns and ancient trees, whose branches formed a natural archway overhead. Moonlight filtered through in beams that danced along their way, creating a mystical atmosphere that felt almost magical. As they walked behind her, anticipation bubbled within them. What would they discover? What secrets lay hidden within this vibrant forest? The excitement in their hearts grew stronger with each step deeper into nature's embrace. Little did they know that this unexpected adventure would lead them to something truly remarkable. Something that would change their lives forever and strengthen their bond with both nature and each other. As they continued into the night, guided by the lioness's steady presence, they felt braver than ever before, ready to uncover whatever stunning discovery awaited them just ahead. The serene atmosphere of Elder Grove was suddenly disrupted when the villagers began to notice the unusual silhouette at the edge of their cozy homes. A lioness stood there, her golden fur contrasting against the backdrop of dark trees, creating an image both stunning and alarming. Whispers spread like wildfire among the gathered families, their previous conversations fading as curiosity took over. "Did you see that?" a little boy named Oliver asked, his wide eyes sparkling with a mixture of awe and fear. He tugged on his mother's hand. "Is she lost? Should we call for help?" His mother, Ms. Turner, knelt down to calm him, her brow furrowed in concern. "I don't know, sweetheart. We should be careful," she replied, glancing back toward the glowing lanterns that flickered outside their homes, casting long shadows on the cobblestone path. As people peered from their doors and windows, villagers gathered in small clusters. Their expressions combined wonder with uncertainty. Some were drawn closer by thirst for adventure, while others hung back, unsure about the wild cat so near them. Nearby, elderly Mr. Hill stood near the square where people had congregated. He took off his glasses and wiped them on his sleeve as he squinted into the darkness. The lioness watched them patiently, her keen eyes sparkling with intelligence and mystery. A sense of otherworldliness surrounded her. She felt out of place, yet undeniably regal, as if nature itself had sent her to deliver a message. "Maybe she's hungry," someone in the crowd suggested nervously. Another villager chimed in, "Or maybe she's hurt. We can't let her stay too close to us." Fears began to surface amidst excitement. What if she was dangerous? What if she felt threatened? Though tales of wild creatures wandered through conversations, they were typically distant stories told by parents to children, rather than a sighting right at their doorstep. Amidst rising tension, Lila stepped forward again, with confidence shimmering in her eyes. She focused intently on the lioness, rather than fear or worry. "She doesn't look agitated," Lila said softly but firmly to calm those around her. "I believe there must be a reason she has come here." Rumbling murmurs followed her words as thoughts began swirling in everyone's minds. Could it be that she sought help? Or perhaps had something gone awry in her own world? Curiosity sparked hope among villagers. Could this lioness lead them to something incredible? With renewed determination and adventurous spirit ignited within her heart, Lila looked deep into the lioness's gaze as if calling for understanding. It was a captivating moment suspended in time. A silent connection between two different worlds. "Come on," Lila urged with enthusiasm, not only to herself, but also to everyone else tense with uncertainty around her. Let's see what happens if we follow her. Some villagers nodded in agreement, while others remained hesitant but intrigued by Lila's bravery. They didn't want to miss out on this chance for exploration or discovery. A few brave souls joined Lila. Her friends Mira and Aidan, along with Oliver and his mother, Miss Turner. They formed an unlikely band of adventurers willing to venture beyond familiar comfort zones into uncharted territory guided by the Lioness. As they stepped away from the warmth of their village lights towards uninviting dark woods filled with unknown sounds and shadows looming just ahead. An exhilarating mix of anxiety and excitement made every heartbeat feel ferocious. In that moment, Lila glanced back at those still standing behind. The flickering lanterns became tiny dots against night sky filled with twinkling stars above them. A reminder of home, waiting patiently for their return while urging them forward into this wild, unknown adventure unfurling right before them. The lioness halted briefly, as if realizing they were slowly trailing behind, but then resumed trotting deeper into the forest. Flickers of moonlight filtered through branches overhead, creating patterns decorating their path mesmerizingly against cool earth below them. Despite fears hovering close like clouds ahead overhead, creeping into minds every now and then, the group couldn't help feeling delighted, stirring visions dancing between leaves overhead, transporting imaginations flying free, with an encapsulated mystery blooming brightly all around them. As they ventured deeper into nature's embrace, led faithfully by that beautiful creature, who seemed part guardian angel, part guide. The villagers felt invigorated, exploring life, entwined near wildness around them, unraveling magical connection that existed between humans and animals alike, special enough shaping bonds stronger than walls built around fear bared closely. Little did they realize how remarkably impactful this night would become. Uncovering secrets nestled beneath canopies, woven snugly overflowing inspirations, beckoning everyone towards awakening spirits, undeniably reflecting courage, strength, blooming vividly defined throughout. As hearts raced, while souls overflowed unity ahead, fraught with adventure, awaiting challenges never yet unveiled. A white-hot splendor embossed each moment, bridging differences between a village dwelling side, stitched lovingly nestled, right against depths, echoing rhythm journeys, intertwined, seeking truth, allowed traces, miracles held firmly sliding gracefully upon even wildest encounters, manifesting entirely bringing harmony, complete dedicated towards pathways unexplored. As the group of villagers ventured deeper into the woods, they followed the lioness with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The night air was filled with the sounds of chirping crickets and the rustle of leaves, creating an ambiance that felt both magical and mysterious. With each step, Lila led her friends forward, their eyes fixed on the lioness as she gracefully navigated her way through the trees. The lioness moved with a calm confidence that surprised the villagers. Her posture was relaxed, yet there was an unmistakable purpose to her movements. She seemed attuned to something within the forest, almost as if she were aware of their presence and beckoning them along. Every now and then, she would glance back at them, her bright eyes glimmering in the pale moonlight, as if reassuring them that they were headed in the right direction. Lila felt an undeniable connection to the lioness, sensing that this majestic creature wanted more than just to wander alone in the woods. There was an air about her, an instinctual wisdom that made Lila believe she had a message to share. What could she possibly need from us? Lila pondered silently, trying to decipher the unspoken language between them. As they continued on their journey, there was a moment when the lioness paused in front of a large oak tree. She turned her head slowly toward Lila and her friends, as if inviting them to come closer. The majestic feline's golden fur glowed softly under the moon's embrace, creating a beautiful contrast against the deep shadows surrounding her. "Look," Mira whispered excitedly, while pointing toward some movement behind the tree roots. All eyes turned to where she indicated, a small bundle of fur nestled against the gnarled bark beneath where the lioness stood. Lila's heart raced. Could it be that this strong protector was guiding them towards something vulnerable? The lioness gently stepped aside, giving them space to see what lay hidden beneath her watchful gaze. As they approached cautiously, they noticed tiny paws peeking out. 2 tiny cubs. They were huddled together close to their mother's favorite resting place, but looked weary and frightened. "They must be hers," Adon exclaimed softly in awe. "She brought us here for a reason." For a brief moment, all their worries vanished. Whatever fear had clouded their minds about encountering a wild animal faded away as they witnessed this tender scene unfold before them. The cubs blinked up at them with wide eyes filled with curiosity. There seemed to be an understanding between species forming right then in that secluded part of nature. The lioness let out a soft rumble, a sound that held both reassurance and urgency, and nudged one of her cubs forward gently with her nose. It looked up at its mother before cautiously stepping closer toward the intrigued villagers. "What do you think she wants us to do?" Oliver asked timidly, leaning closer while remaining behind Ms. Turner's protective stance. "She might need our help caring for these little ones," Lila replied with determination ringing in her voice. "Maybe we should work together to make sure they're safe." Ms. Turner knelt down beside Oliver while keeping an eye on both him and their guard. The lioness who remained calm yet watchful like a true guardian over her offspring. With cautious movements driven by compassion rather than fear now filling hearts, Lila suggested gathering nearby branches and leaves from around them for shelter or warmth for the cubs if needed, because it seemed they had wandered without it previously regarding safety during nighttime hours away from their den or mother's side. The wagging tails behind those fuzzy faces showed sheer joy despite trepidation looming over bold explorers venturing into unknown territories. This bond formed sparked healing instincts between all present beings intertwined through shared admiration. Even amidst vast differences among species, gradually realizing how special this moment truly was. One not only bridging distance across wild creatures, but also woven deeply into stories uniting human courage alongside nature always. A beautiful tapestry emerging filled lovingly by those sentient souls sharing each other's lives, resting gently woven close together. Little by little, more villagers stepped forward, encouraged by Lila's bravery. They began working softly yet swiftly under guiding eyes, still watching closely above, shrouded within colors, dancing deliciously illuminated under starlit skies, paving ways ahead, glowing warmly even against darkness creeping beyond edges unknown. Leading countless stories waiting patiently, unveiling adventures promised centuries ago. Ingesting every little image welling independently within hearts, each pulse resonating brightly, magnifying individuality, pooling essence converging right underfoot, this journey blossomed magnificently. The once distant lines separating different realms began fading entirely, foreshadowing harmony achieved. Invitations unfolding freshly awakened senses, longing simply to embrace adventure, awaiting uncovering further treasures, linked intrinsically unfolding ripe for discoveries shared together, promising untold meaning, woven sumptuously across expansive landscapes, stretching forevermore, intertwining wondrous possibilities, unlocking future dreams, inflating spirits soaring higher. With hearts racing and a newfound sense of unity, Lila and the group of villagers exchanged encouraging glances as they continued to follow the lioness through the twilight forest. Each step taken into the depths of the woods felt like a leap into the unknown. But they were fueled by curiosity and an innate desire to support this magnificent creature. The flickering shadows danced around them, but instead of fear, excitement thrummed in the air like a lively melody. As they walked deeper, an assortment of wildflowers dotted their path, glowing with delicate hues under the moonlight. The fragrance filled their nostrils, offering moments of serenity between the adrenaline-fueled excitement. Lila smiled at her companions, their faces alight with anticipation. "Can you believe we're doing this?" she whispered breathlessly. Adon grinned back at her. "I never thought I'd be following a lioness through the woods. This is incredible. What do you think she'll show us next?" Before Lila could answer, the lioness paused again, turning to ensure everyone was still behind her. Her keen gaze surveyed them, as if to confirm that they were ready for what lay ahead. An unspoken bond formed in that moment between her and the villagers. "We're right here," Lila said softly, taking a step forward. "We're following you." Encouraged by her words, more villagers stepped closer together as they entered a clearing. The vast, open space was bathed in ethereal moonlight that seemed to shine especially bright at that moment. In its glow, they could see that the ground was carpeted with soft moss and surrounded by towering trees whose branches swayed gently in the night breeze. Layla felt a sense of peace wash over her, a feeling that this journey was meant to unfold exactly as it was happening. There in front of them stood a small stream, bubbling cheerfully over smooth stones. The lioness moved toward it gracefully and took a few calming sips of water before looking back at her newfound friends. "Maybe she's thirsty," Mira suggested, watching the lioness intently. This simple act seemed to deepen their understanding of one another. All at once, they realized that their exploration was not just about following a wild animal, but sharing an experience with a fellow being from another world. An interaction based on trust, given freely. While watching her drink, Lila turned to address the group once again. "We need to remember that she's not just an animal. She's a mother looking out for her cubs. Let's keep our voices low and movements gentle so we don't startle her." Understanding filled each villager's eyes. They nodded in agreement. There was now an unbreakable collective spirit guiding them forward. The lioness finished drinking and began to lead them further downstream into a more densely wooded area, where shafts of moonlight danced playfully among thick underbrush. There were intriguing sounds. The gentle croaking of frogs mingled seamlessly with orchestrated chirps from crickets, as if nature itself recognized this unique gathering, unfolding quietly beneath its vast expanse. As they walked together, deeper still into this enchanted landscape, led faithfully by their feline guide. A curious sensation sprang forth within each heart among them. What if there was more than just adventure awaiting? Could there be something larger at play? They all shared similar thoughts about possible discoveries. The pull toward something meaningful unfolding beneath ancient trees, where forgotten stories may lie nestled in shadows, long cloaked by time itself, waiting patiently until now. Suddenly, they heard faint sounds resonate deeper down from within thickets nearby. Soft cries, almost like whispers beckoning for help, muffled amidst rustling leaves, stirred by wind dancing across delicate boughs, hovering expectantly above fragile life, pooling tenderly below. The lioness paused once again and looked toward those curious adventurers behind her without faltering. A silent command inviting them closer. Encouragement blossoming. Her expression remained serene, yet focused, like she carried immense significance hidden deep inside those roving eyes. Mysteries yet untold. Awaiting vibrant discovery, eager during this breathtaking encounter past areas uncharted, slowly opening wondrous realms, unveiling what existed unobtrusively, waiting patiently. Eager breaths caught within chests surged amongst intrigue spiraling. Their hearts thumping harmoniously fueled onward, propelling forth hands reaching out, grasping. Tight on roots, intertwining their hopes, blossoming beautifully. Ripe along paths threaded beyond, unexpected treasures ahead, alive. Resting softly woven together, bridging differences between every being around, entered magic. Boundless, surely cascading endlessly, creating connections, thriving, esteem, growing joyously, unfurling. Vibrant life ignited, releasing new paths, bursting forth, amalgamation, collecting shared admiration, surrounding blooms, blooming radiant, effortlessly ignited, embracing unknown journeys, unfolding steadily, imbuing limitless potential, shimmering, eagerly awaiting gentle hands, approaching, lightening burdens laid gently aside, shaping destinies, weaving strands intricately spun, sparking visions, igniting brightly trails, new waters beckoning brightly unseen opportunities, flourishing. In those quiet moments crafted since beginning this fateful night, a palpable understanding emerged thriving through palpable energy rising within. A beautiful connection thrived, forming bonds stronger than mere flesh, separating distinguished realms, allowing harmonious symphony, confidently resonating between beings once divided, yielding rich rewards promised, encouraging bravery, resilient hope, blossoming softly, lifting spirits higher. Encompassing hopes, stirring longings, evermore entwined, sparkling brightly, along edges forever blossoming upon vistas. Horizon, alongside vivid dreams, tumbling, flowing forth like ribbons, diving, dipping unfettered across expanse, stretching towards infinity, whispering tales, yearning. Weave together, eternally inviting noblest endeavors, freshly emerging, written forever, drawn together, spinning within essence, dancing evermore higher. With the lioness leading the way, the villagers plunged deeper into the darkening woods, where the path twisted and turned with an unpredictability that heightened their senses. The light from the moon slipped behind thick clouds, leaving them in a semi-darkness that felt both thrilling and foreboding. Each step they took brought new sounds, a soft rustle of leaves, a distant hoot of an owl, or the snapping of twigs, that echoed loudly in their ears, amplifying the tension among them. As the group followed the lioness, the brush grew denser, twining around their legs and snagging at their clothes like playful fingers. The air was cooler here, filled with earthy scents of damp moss and decaying leaves, mixed with the faint fragrance of wildflowers that thrived in hidden corners. Yet, beneath this enchanting surface, lay an undercurrent of unease that clung to the villagers like a shadow. Lila walked at the front alongside the lioness, her heart racing with every step they took. She could feel the pulse of excitement from her friends, woven together with trepidation, as if emotions were tangled up like the vines hanging from trees above them. What if she leads us somewhere dangerous? Oliver whispered nervously, glancing back toward Ms. Turner, who offered him a gentle nod of reassurance. Maybe she knows something we don't. Mira replied bravely, her voice steadier than she felt inside. The lioness paused occasionally, glancing back to ensure her human companions followed closely, her eyes glowing like amber lanterns guiding their way forward through the thick darkness. The winding path took unexpected turns, weaving through tall bushes and around large boulders, creating an intricate maze that tested their resolve. Lila felt a slight chill creep down her spine as shadows danced around them. Was it simply her imagination? Or did something watch from the depths of the forest? She pushed the thought away. Worries would not help them now. Just then, a sudden rustling from a nearby thicket broke through the silence like thunder. The villagers froze mid-step, their breaths catching in their throats. The lioness turned sharply toward the sound, her muscles tense and her ears alert like a finely tuned instrument, ready to respond to any danger. Lila held her breath, Even though they were following this powerful creature, she couldn't shake off her anxiety. "It's okay," Lila finally said, breaking the heavy silence as she reassured herself as much as her companions. "Let's stay close together." With cautious hearts beating loudly, they resumed walking, each footfall echoing as if to remind them they were very much alive, in a place where nature ruled unchallenged. As they pressed onward through increasingly dense brush, branches reached out as though to cling to them, almost like they were reluctant to let go of their simple lives back in Elder Grove. Another bend took them into a slightly more open area. A small clearing lit eerily by moonbeams filtering through the branches overhead. The lioness padded gracefully forward and stood at its edge, her presence commanding yet serene. Once again, she looked back at her human followers as if encouraging them to step forward into this new space, where adventure and uncertainty danced hand in hand. Leela cautiously crossed into the clearing alongside her friends. They could see now that soft clumps of grass grew alongside vibrant patches of flowers that seemingly thrived under the protective embrace of ancient trees standing tall like majestic guardians. The beauty felt intoxicating, but held an edge of strangeness. Their surroundings were both welcoming yet laced with an unpredictability that sent shivers down their spines. Just as they began to relax amidst such scenic beauty, another sound came. A low growl resonated from further within the brush beyond the clearing. A ripple of tension spread through the group as they exchanged startled glances. "What was that?" Adan asked quietly, fear flickering in his eyes. The lioness seemed unbothered at first, but began moving closer toward where the noise had emerged. Her instinct guided her onward silently. But Lila noticed how her body tensed again, a reminder that there was still a world of wildness enveloping them beyond what they had come to know. "We should follow her," Lila urged softly as she moved behind their guide once more. "Stay together." But as they stepped deeper into that seemingly magical realm where calm beauty battled against underlying risks, uncertainty loomed heavy upon each set of shoulders. These villagers, transformed adventurers, stepped unknowingly towards challenges and revelations, waiting within thick shadows, holding secrets and adventures unraveling before them. With pounding hearts and cautious footsteps on fertile ground, nestled gently beneath vibrant canopies that swayed above, creating melodies weaved together, effortlessly responding, beckoning, gathering whispers, spiraling brightly, coaxing strength. Living undeniable, rooting, deeply forging together forever. Gone visions stitched firmly intertwining pathways, emerging triumphant over daydreams, fashioned vividly, bringing unity, unyielded, battling fears, edging, courage, a shimmering life, embracing, inviting whispers, drawing aspirations, bringing dawn softly, drawing close, nestled softly brightening heart. Warm, wondrous paths awake forevermore. As they ventured onward, ever trusting undeniably, through shadows, lingering moments, eternally flooded, enchanting sights, glimpsing radiant explorations, waiting unravel surprises uncovered, sweeping secrets, glistening, beckoning treasures, promising enchantment, revealing amid laughter, unfurling brightly, dancing joyfully, exploring eternity, so dear while settling roots, entwined, flourishing drift forth. Beating rhythmic heartbeat, soaring horizons, gathering resonating boundaryless cries from corners, brighter sharing vistas gathered carved together, illuminating lives, rediscovered mingling rhythmically evermore spun tales, timeless, enduring fate. As the villagers cautiously moved closer to where the low growl had echoed, the lioness continued to lead them onward, undeterred by the sounds surrounding them. The tension in the group was palpable, but Lila felt an inexplicable trust in the majestic creature. Her instincts whispered that they were on the brink of a momentous discovery. Suddenly, the lioness paused again and turned sharply to her left. her gaze focused intently on a thick cluster of underbrush. With a gentle but commanding movement, she nudged aside some brambles with her powerful paw. The villagers leaned forward, peering into the darkness that lay beyond. "What is it?" Adan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Before anyone could respond, the lioness stepped back hesitantly, almost as if inviting them to come closer to inspect what lay hidden within the dense foliage. Lila could feel her heart racing with hope and anticipation. This felt like a pivotal moment in their journey. With cautious excitement, Lila and her companions carefully parted the thick branches and peered inside. To their astonishment, there was an opening. A large cave entrance nestled into the rocky hillside they had not noticed before. It was shrouded in shadows, but even in the dim light, they could see hints of sparkling minerals embedded in the stone walls that shimmered like stars scattered across a night sky. "A cave!" Mira gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. "Have you ever seen this before?" Oliver asked urgently, glancing around at his friends and neighbors who all shook their heads in disbelief. The lioness turned back toward the cave as if encouraging them to follow her inside. Lila felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with trepidation. This discovery could change everything for Elder Grove. With a deep breath to steady herself, she nodded firmly and stepped forward into the dark maw of the cave, invitingly lit by shafts of moonlight filtering through small openings. Emerging from the brush into this new realm felt surreal. As they crossed the threshold into the cool cavern, there was a marked shift in atmosphere. The sounds of rustling leaves faded away to be replaced by tranquil silence, punctuated only by gentle drips of water echoing softly against stone walls. The air grew cooler and fresh, cooling their cheeks like a gentle caress while awakening their senses anew. Lila flicked on her small lantern, and together with her friends, illuminated sparkling crystals lining every surface within reach. Each step revealed something wondrous. Stalactites gracefully hanging from above, like nature's chandeliers, and reflections dancing along dampened surfaces, mirrored another world entirely removed from what lay outside beneath starry skies above. "Look at these formations," Adan exclaimed as he marveled at intricate designs splayed artistically across rock faces. Ribbons spiraled outward, resembling gusts, caught mid-motion, suspended beautifully, showcasing pure artistry shaped naturally over time. Standing testament filled whimsically enchanting imagination, ripe for exploring therein, profusely gifting insights, unveiling rich history concealed, treasured deep within Earth's embrace. "They must be ancient," Mira said breathlessly as she traced her fingers lightly along one particularly ornate crystal formation, gleaming brightly under their watchful gaze. Their discovery nurtured excitement, flowing freely, weaving intricate threads, coalescing inspirations, ebbing tranquil joys, inspiring unity, illuminating bonds, ever-deepening blossoming strength, flourishing beyond boundaries, existing among kindred spirits, daring unveil horizons, all together connected. Meanwhile, Lila's attention turned toward further caverns, waiting further inside veiled, shrouded mysteries, ongoing exploration, amid stillness exuding serenity. Nurtured breathe expansive visions. The lioness watched solemnly, yet protectively, presenting guidance, attuned, gently weaving, gently reminding familiar airs, allowing passage down hidden paths, invoking respectfully observant essence. Breathing life, anchored desires, enhanced profoundly, embracing wild wonder, beautifully resurrected, intertwined depths, bearing gifts, graciously shared, inviting hearts, collectively melding journeys, unfolding seamlessly, renewing hopes, sprawling coveted terrain, steadily lifting souls higher, soaring ambitions, promising limitless adventures, brightly forth. How did we miss this before? Lila mused aloud, gazing deeply across nature's canvas, painted magically revealing stories, long-held secrets, yearning released steadily, igniting pulses alive, unfolding organically, embracing challenges, exquisitely welcoming vigor, cultivated forever, cherished, gathering delights, cherished, celebrating kinship, forging timeless links, blossoming endlessly entwined fabric enliven. With each passing moment deeper, drawn ever closer through shared laughter, experiences, collectively sculpting tangible lives, intertwined tightly woven together. Ready now, brave souls soared forth, united traversing deep, existing realms, transformed to blooming vibrancy. Nurtured dreams, awaiting realization unto shared destiny. Sparkling warmly, illuminating cherished remembrance, eternally bathing. Warmth revered, illuminating bright, open, peaceful passageways, nurturing anyone trusting wholeheartedly love, bestowed upon wild spaces where untamed hearts roam free. Expressing depths, sacred vows, eternally gloriously abundant. Endless thrum passionately pulsing wildly, yearning upward, beckoning forward. In that profound moment, standing within wonder bursts, cascaded freely tethered beings, collectively enveloped warmth. Brighter illuminating horizons, gifted mighty voices gathered singing splendidly nurturing tones, woven resplendently, intertwining throughout eternity. Patiently cradled dreamers carrying reflections, launched towards vast, unknown rise. Grandiloquently embarking collectively, crafting tales delight. Weaving infinite possibilities, alive, vibrant. As the villagers stepped further into the cave, their lantern light danced across the walls, illuminating ancient rock formations and glistening crystals. The atmosphere felt alive with magic. Every drippy sound, every echo seemed to whisper secrets of the past, waiting to be discovered. Lila led the way, her heart pounding with anticipation. But she felt a sense of unity among her friends. They ventured into this hidden world together. As they moved deeper into the cave's embrace, the path widened, revealing a larger chamber that took their breath away. Stalactites hung like chandeliers from above, glistening with moisture and reflecting the light in dazzling patterns. The air was cooler here, filled with the earthy scent of stone mixed with something sweet and rich that Lila couldn't quite place. "Wow," Mira breathed, her voice barely above a whisper as she gazed around in awe. "It's beautiful." But Lila's attention was drawn to a shadowy corner of the chamber where the light barely reached. Squinting against the darkness, she thought she saw movement. "Wait," she said, holding up her hand for silence. "Did you see that?" The group paused, their eyes darting toward the shadowed area. With cautious steps, Lila approached it slowly, while her friends followed closely behind. As they drew nearer, the outline of a small creature became clearer. A wounded animal lay curled up against the wall. "Oh no," Oliver gasped as they realized it was a young deer, its leg caught awkwardly between two large rocks. The creature's eyes were wide with fear and pain, reflecting their lantern light as it trembled. "We have to help it," Lila declared urgently, her heart aching for the helpless animal. The lioness trotted forward confidently and sat near the young deer, her presence instantly calming it. It seemed as though she understood what they would try to do, offering silent support without intervening directly. Lila sensed that this was part of why they had come here, to aid not just the lioness, but this vulnerable creature too. "Let's be gentle," Lila instructed her friends as they knelt down carefully around the frightened deer. "Oliver, can you hold its head still so it doesn't panic?" With the villagers working together, they managed to ease the rocks away from its trapped leg while murmuring soothing words to calm it down. Adan gently stroked its fur, speaking softly to reassure it. "You're going to be okay," he promised earnestly. After what felt like an eternity, they finally freed the young deer from its entrapment. It stood awkwardly at first, but then took a few hesitant steps away from them, before looking back with gratitude shining in its big eyes. The villagers exhaled in relief and shared smiles filled with triumph over their successful rescue. "It's beautiful," Mira whispered, as they watched it regain its composure. But just as they began to celebrate their victory, a soft rustling sound emerged from deeper within the cave. The lioness tensed slightly and turned her head toward the noise, alert and watchful. The air thickened with suspense as everyone turned their attention back toward where the sound originated. What if there are more animals in need? Lila wondered aloud, her heart racing once again at the thought of further adventures awaiting them inside this hidden world. As if answering her question, another silhouette materialized from the shadows. A second young deer appeared, cautiously stepping forward alongside its sibling, now recovering from earlier fright. The two deer stood together, exchanging glances while trying to gauge whether they could trust these humans who had just helped one of their own. "They must have been hiding here," Oliver exclaimed excitedly as he pointed toward them. Lila felt a warmth spread through her heart. This was more than just a cave. It was a sanctuary for lost creatures seeking refuge from danger outside. She glanced back at the lioness, whose steady gaze seemed to hold wisdom beyond their understanding. Was she leading them here, not only for exploration, but also to protect these animals? Lila looked around at her friends, who shared expressions of awe, mixed with determination. "We should help them too," she stated firmly. Together again, they worked gently to coax both deer toward safety. A small nook nestled deeper within the cave that offered covering away from predators lurking outside. As they guided them quietly along with soft encouragements and gentle gestures, almost like crafting an invisible thread of unity, they all began feeling entwined in an unbreakable bond woven purely by kindness. With each step taken deeper into this sanctuary forged by nature's might, the villagers realized how extraordinary their journey had become. They were part of something bigger than themselves, a living story unfolding around them that told tales of connection, compassion, and courage echoing through rock formations, enduring time. In that sacred space surrounded by ancient beauty and newfound allies, Lila knew this adventure would resonate long after returning home, sparking conversations, igniting imaginations, weaving inspirations among everyone, forever altering perspectives, held tenderly, revealing lives, intertwined deeply, embracing wild wonders together, flourishing unity, beckoned forth. Their hearts overflowed with fulfillment, sparked brightly. Each moment spent nurturing life within those cavernous walls nurtured joy, blooming vibrantly while whispering promises shared, transcending cultural lines, resonating throughout timeless realms, bringing futures alive, pulsing together, boldly ahead. The villagers gathered around the two young deer, their hearts filled with a mix of excitement and determination. Lila's mind raced with thoughts of how they could create a safe environment for the animals within the cave. "We need to find a cozy corner away from any entrance," she suggested, glancing around the spacious chamber lit by their lanterns. Mira nodded enthusiastically. "We could use some of those soft, mossy patches over there." She pointed to an area of plush green moss that looked inviting and warm. The villagers quickly set to work, using branches and leaves to create a comfortable nook for the deer. As they moved, Lila couldn't help but notice how each villager took on a specific role. Oliver was carefully gathering softer materials, while Adden led the way in arranging them thoughtfully. Even Miss Turner, who had been hesitant at first, was getting involved by gently encouraging the deer to move toward their new shelter. Lila felt a swell of gratitude toward her friends. Their teamwork was creating an atmosphere of not only safety, but also love and respect for the creatures they were helping. It was clear that everyone understood the importance of their mission, and it strengthened their bond with one another and with nature itself. While they worked, the lioness remained nearby, her presence steady and watchful. Lila appreciated her protective role. She could feel that this majestic animal understood what was happening. Their efforts to help were not just acts of kindness, but also a way to honor the delicate balance between humans and wildlife. After securing the soft nook for the young deer, Lila turned her attention back toward the lioness. "Thank you for leading us here," she said softly, feeling an incredible connection with this magnificent creature that had brought them all together. The lioness looked at her with intelligent eyes, as if acknowledging Lila's gratitude and understanding. Once they finished creating a safe haven, Layla stepped back, observing how the two deer cautiously approached their new sanctuary. With gentle nudges from each other, they settled into the comfort surrounded by warmth, their eyes still darting around in uncertainty, but slowly beginning to trust this strange group that had saved them. "Do you think they'll be okay?" Oliver asked quietly as he joined Lila's side. "They will," Lila replied confidently, "as long as we keep them safe from whatever dangers lurk outside." She glanced at her friends, who gathered closely around her, a sense of solidarity growing stronger between them all as they stood together in awe of their surroundings while protecting these lost souls. The cave's atmosphere shifted as silence enveloped them again, the kind that made every small sound feel amplified and significant. It was almost humbling standing in such grandeur, surrounded by ancient formations that had witnessed unfathomable tales over years gone by. "I wonder what other secrets this place holds," Adan mused aloud after watching the deer settle into their cozy nook. Without hesitation, Lila felt inspired to explore further into the cave's depths. Her heart raced with anticipation for what lay ahead. Perhaps more animals needing help, or even artifacts telling stories from long ago hidden within its rocky embrace. "Let's go see," she urged excitedly to her friends. They exchanged glances filled with eagerness before nodding in agreement. Ready to follow her lead once more, down unexplored pathways illuminated only by flickering lanterns. As they ventured deeper into the cave, they marveled at beautiful formations stretching far above them like graceful sculptures crafted by time itself. Some resembling familiar shapes, while others appeared completely foreign, yet breathtakingly beautiful nonetheless. Every step taken resonated with their shared purpose. A collective heartbeat echoing throughout chambers alive, with possibility binding them closer together, forging relationships grounded firmly within nature's woven tapestry. The lioness trailed close behind them, a silent guardian ensuring safety while coaxing forth camaraderie, blooming vibrantly within hearts intertwined unbreakably through acts driven purely by compassion, igniting understanding, nurturing growth around. Suddenly, another shadow crossed their path further ahead. A flicker of movement caught in the corner of Lila's eye drew her attention sharply. She held up her lantern, illuminating yet another creature. A small fox curled up tightly against a rock wall. "Oh my!" Mira gasped softly, stepping forward instinctively, wanting to reach out toward it. "Wait," Lila cautioned gently, trying not to startle it further. This place was turning into something far greater than themselves. Majestic spirits danced alongside each discovery. As they approached, carefully hoping not to frighten it away, they realized how interconnected all living beings truly were. a bond thriving amid vulnerability, existing alongside strength, unfolding marvelously, revealing beauty, nurtured endlessly. "Let's see if we can help it too," Layla whispered, fiercely determined, eager hearts pulsing joyously, brimming, full hopes blossoming brightly, lighting pathways awaiting exploration, once hidden beneath shadows, now illuminated, rushing forth, unfurling adventurers, keenly alive, forevermore embracing wild wonders, showing unity, resonating deeply, expanding horizons, nurturing dreams, endlessly alive. As the villagers took a moment to catch their breath, they looked around the cave, now filled with life and the soft sounds of their new animal friends. Lila couldn't shake the profound sense of connection that had blossomed during this adventure. The Lioness had not only led them to a hidden sanctuary, but had also transformed their relationship with nature in ways they had never anticipated. Standing beside her friends, Lila reflected on how different things felt now compared to just a few hours before, when they had first followed the Lioness into the woods. Initially, there had been fear and uncertainty surrounding the sighting of such a powerful creature, which had stirred mixed emotions among the villagers. Yet, here they were, united in their purpose, protecting those who needed help. The mere act of following the Lioness deep into the forest had unlocked a new perspective for each of them. "I think we've changed," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper as she looked around at her companions. "We came out here expecting to see a wild animal, but we found so much more." "You're right," Oliver agreed, stroking his chin thoughtfully. "Before today, I never thought I'd feel this way about wildlife. I used to think of animals as something scary that needed to stay away from us." He glanced at the Lioness, who watched them with an air of gentleness and strength. "But now, seeing her care for her cubs and watching us help these deer, it's different." Mira nodded in agreement, her eyes sparkling with newfound understanding. "I never knew how connected we could be with nature. It feels like we're part of something bigger now. The way the Lioness leads us, it's like she trusts us." The villagers exchanged glances, filled with a mixture of awe and gratitude toward both the Lioness and each other. They understood that their adventure was about more than just exploring a cave. It was about relating to the natural world in a deeper way. There was a respect blossoming within them for wildlife that transcended mere fascination. Their lives were now intertwined with these animal stories. Lila felt blessed to witness such powerful transformations unfold among her friends. This journey had opened their hearts and minds, showing them how important it was to protect not just their village and its inhabitants, but also all creatures sharing their land. As they stood together in that sacred space surrounded by beauty and wonderment, Lila spoke again. "We have to remember this feeling when we go back to Eldergrove," she urged firmly. "It can't just end here. We need to advocate for protecting our wildlife and understanding them better." The group nodded in unison, each member absorbing Lila's words while reflecting on how they could keep this spirit alive back home. The bond they had built today between themselves and nature felt fragile, yet vibrant. A thread woven delicately through shared experiences that deserved nurturing in days ahead. With renewed determination filling each heart, they turned their attention back to the Lioness, who remained patiently watching over them. A silent guardian embodying wisdom and strength symbolic of feminine power, connecting nature harmoniously, supporting thriving communities, enveloped wildlife. As excitement bubbled within them once more, the villagers prepared themselves for whatever new adventures awaited beyond. What artifacts lay undiscovered? More lost creatures needing guidance? while keeping alertness heightened by learnings shared during remarkable encounters along previously tread pathways. For growing awareness rippled fiercely, forging onward, brightly illuminating lives through compassionate connections, echoing respect leading forth. Those resonated ideals would forever serve as guiding lights, illuminating paths toward enriched understanding, dilating futures, promising breathes depth, illustrating inherent beauty, intermingled ranging beyond boundaries, teaching currents basked, gently steeped, lovingly entwined, nurturing bonds, existing eternally flowing, freely evermore. Rising up hand in hand towards uncharted realms, shimmering with potential, generously beckoning invitingly. Stories thrumming alongside beckoning, primarily charged forward. A commitment forged, resiliently anchored toward kinship, upon pathways strewn together, flourishing blooms, embracing diverse stories, crucial surroundings, forging harmony, sparked vibrancy, reflecting rich histories, nurturing reverence, promise, tender love, breathing fires alive, continuing pulsating through wild worlds throughout eternity. This journey was not just about saving creatures or discovering ancient wonders. It was fundamentally about respecting life's incredible tapestry. An intimate dance, eternally expanding, unifying margins, prevailing beauty, thriving, returningly, embracing, profoundly experiencing, expansive souls flourishing. Together, treasuring precious natures glow evermore. As the villagers stepped out of the cave, they were greeted by the cool night air and the vast expanse of stars twinkling above them, like 1,000 tiny lanterns. The moon hung brightly in the sky, casting silvery light over the forest path that led back to Eldergrove. They paused for a moment, taking it all in. This was no ordinary night. It was a night of transformation. Lila looked around at her friends, each face illuminated by the soft glow of their lanterns. There was an unmistakable sense of awe amongst them, an appreciation for not only the wonders they had witnessed, but also for the bonds forged during their adventure. "I can't believe what we've experienced tonight," she said softly, her voice tinged with excitement. "We saw so much beauty and helped so many creatures in need." Oliver nodded, a grin spreading across his face. "And we did it together. Helping those deer and that little fox, it felt incredible to make a difference." His enthusiasm sparked nods of agreement from everyone around him. Mira chimed in, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We have to tell everyone back home about this. The village needs to know how important it is to protect these animals and appreciate nature more." "Yes!" Lila exclaimed, feeling a rush of determination. "We need to share our stories and experiences with everyone. This isn't just an adventure. It's a lesson in compassion and connection with wildlife." As they continued their journey homeward, the path underfoot felt familiar, yet somehow different. Each step resonated with deeper meaning now, as if every footfall carried with it echoes of their experiences within the cave. The weight of responsibility settled gently on their shoulders, but it was accompanied by a sense of hope and purpose. "Do you think we'll find more ways to protect wildlife?" Adan asked thoughtfully, glancing up at Leela as they walked. "I believe we will," she replied confidently. "This experience has opened our eyes to what's out there. We can work together as a community to make sure our wildlife is safe and respected." As they approached the edge of Eldergrove, Lila felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude fill her heart. She thought about everything they had encountered: the lioness guiding them through the woods, the injured deer they rescued, and the small fox they helped find safety. Each moment had left an indelible mark on her spirit. The village lights began twinkling in the distance, like stars that had fallen to earth. When they entered Eldergrove, laughter and warmth enveloped them as familiar faces turned toward their returning group. Children played in the streets under mothers' watchful eyes, while fathers gathered around discussing daily happenings. "Look," One boy shouted excitedly as he pointed toward Lila and her friends. "They're back! What did you find?" Gathering around them, villagers pressed close with eager expressions, their curiosity palpable. Lila took a deep breath as she prepared to recount their extraordinary tale. A story that would not only captivate, but also inspire change within her community. "We followed a lioness into the woods," she began animatedly, her hands gesturing widely as she spoke. "And we discovered a hidden cave filled with beautiful crystals and amazing formations." As Lila shared their journey, how they rescued 2 young deer and a fox, the crowd erupted into gasps and awe-filled whispers. The tales intertwined with laughter and joy. Enthusiasm spread like wildfire among them. When she finished recounting everything, silence enveloped the crowd momentarily before applause erupted from every corner surrounding them. Villagers cheered for bravery, shown amid challenges met together, a celebration that extended beyond mere adventure into something far greater. "Tonight was special," Ms. Turner said thoughtfully as she stepped forward among those gathered closely around. "It reminds us how vital it is to protect our wildlife and embrace nature's gifts." Lila felt warmth flooding through her heart at Ms. Turner's words. It felt like validation, not just for her, but all her friends who had journeyed together, sharing respect, gained deeply rooted, alongside memories blossomed against odds. Underneath that blanket of stars shining overhead, illuminating myriad lives, intertwined, embracing enriched understanding, blooming vibrantly hearts alight passionately, weaving together tirelessly. Life unfolding beautifully, touching souls, intertwining. Nurturing forever, glowing brilliantly, illuminating purposes held dearly. Unfolding grand tales alive, awaiting emergence. Igniting potent flames, inspiring future guardians, willing forging movement, alive moments gracefully crafted anew, through wild wonders embraced eternally growing. As laughter danced beneath celestial skies shining bright. Lila knew this adventure marked merely the beginning. Seeds sown would grow vigorously, sparking imaginations, illuminating untold stories, destined forge proudly onward, celebrating harmony, flourishing profoundly vibrant, connecting generations, blossoming cherished respect, nurtured lovingly, expanding endlessly toward horizons, pursuing boundless dreams, burning brightly evermore.